Hi guys, Teacher Lori here and welcome to Practical Research 2. Our most essential learning competencies for the week are: first, illustrate the importance of quantitative research across fields, and differentiate the kinds of variables and their uses. So pasok tayo sa first topic natin for today, quantitative research across fields. Throughout history, quantitative research has paved the way to finding meaningful solutions to difficulties. Using quantitative design helps us determine and better understand the relationships between variables or phenomenon crucial to reducing the range of uncertainty because the mathematics behind quantitative studies helps us make close estimates of the outcome from a given condition. The following are some of the benefits of quantitative research to various fields. In communication, researchers are often interested in how an understanding of a particular communication phenomenon might be generalized to a larger population. For example, researchers can advance questions like, what effect do punitive behavioral control statements have on a classroom? What communicative behaviors are associated with different stages in a romantic relationship? What communicative behaviors are used to respond to coworkers displaying emotional stress? Medicine. Quantitative research in medical education tends to be predominantly observational research based on surveys or correlational studies. It provides methods to analyze systems and complex work processes. It also provides methods to design and implement new or revise work processes or subsystems in healthcare organizations. Quantitative research can also be applied in the household census being conducted by the Philippine Statistics Agency in order to determine the number of residents in every household in the entire Philippines. In business, it can improve the overall marketing strategy. The quantitative approach is also most beneficial in market research to determine the customer satisfaction or dissatisfaction. The result of the study will help businessmen and entrepreneurs shape the future direction of their business. While in finance, a comparative study of foreign exchange rates or forex across countries can be made to determine which among these countries has the soundest economy. Next is education. Quantitative research can be used in measuring the level of performance of students as well as teachers. Quantitative study of the students' academic performance ratings may be a good indicator as to which of the subjects or courses is most liked and to measure the learning of the students under distance learning. In the area of accounting, business, and management or ABM, researchers can help design a new product or service, figuring out what is needed and ensure that the development of a product is highly targeted towards demand. Businessmen can also utilize research results to guarantee sufficient distribution of their products and decide where they need to increase their product distribution. The primary function of research in ABM is to correctly determine its customers and their preferences, establish the enterprise in the most feasible location, deliver quality goods and services, analyze what the competitors are doing, and find ways on how to continuously satisfy the growing and varied needs of the clients. In the field of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics or STEM, medical practitioners, for example, conduct researches to obtain significant information about disease trends and risk factors, results of various health interventions, patterns of care, and healthcare costs and use. The different approaches to research provide complementary insights, and of course, researches help in determining the effectiveness and even side effect of drugs and therapies in different populations and various communities or settings. It is also necessary in evaluating experiences in clinical practice in order to develop mechanisms for best practices and to ensure high-quality patient care. As for the engineers, architects, and other builders, research helps in providing designs which are creatively beautiful and at the same time give more convenience and efficiency as they utilize modern technology to adapt to the ever-changing society. New materials and procedures may be developed as to further strengthen the structural materials that can withstand various calamities and disasters. In the discipline of humanities and social sciences, research aims to provide solution to the social problems directly felt by the people. Researches in this field deal more on societal behaviors and social issues such as stress, worker ethics, organizational commitment, leadership style, child labor, teenage pregnancy, human trafficking, drug addiction, and other forms of criminality. Social science researches lead to the understanding of social interaction that may lead to the formulation of new theories and practices that contribute to societal development and welfare. And lastly, in the field of information technology, a comparative study will prove which among the internet providers in the Philippines has the fastest and most reliable internet connection. So research as a whole can help us understand and assess the things and occurrences around us. It provides us with a rationale and justification for our decisions and actions. It also gives us the opportunity to discover various means of identifying problems, to find new ways of dealing with life's challenges, and to come up with innovative materials and mechanisms that can improve the quality of our lives. Here we have another set of contributions of quantitative research to other fields and their example. Topic number 2. Kinds of variables and their uses. Research cannot be possible without taking into account measurable factors that are subject to change due to certain conditions or situations. And anything that can change in research due to circumstances is called a variable. Variable is the characteristics of a data set. A variable is any object, event, idea, feeling, time period, or type of category which can be measured. Many variables exist in research. However, it is extremely difficult to account for all of them because what can be considered as a variable in one study may not necessarily be a variable in another study. In short, a variable is anything that may assume varied numerical or categorical values. But a variable is not only something that you can measure, but also something that you can manipulate and control. Variables can be categorized into unit of measurement and causal relationship. First off, let's talk about variables by unit of measurement. When you collect quantitative data, the numbers you record represent real amounts that can be added, subtracted, divided, etc. Now, there are two types of quantitative variables. The first is discrete or categorical, and the second one is continuous. Discrete variables, or also known as categorical or classificatory variable, has a limited number of distinct values. For example, number of students in a class, number of different tree species in a forest. While a variable naman that can take on infinite number on the value that can occur within the population is known as continuous variable. Its values can be divided into fractions, for example, distance, volume, and age. Now, discrete variables and continuous variables can be further categorized as nominal and ordinal for discrete, and interval and ratio for continuous. Nominal variables are variables with no quantitative value. It has two or more categories, but these categories do not imply correct ordering of cases. Nominal variable does not have an intrinsic order, which means that they can only have categories, not levels. Nominal kasi is defined as name, which means we can measure data by assigning name to the respective data. For example, hair color, gender, result of a coin flip, colors, or brands. While ordinal variables, these are variables that has two or more categories which can be ranked, meaning they have levels. Ordinal measurement is usually arranged in ascending or descending order according to the variable's variation. For examples, finishing place in a race, rating skills responses in a survey, or your educational level. These variables, nominal and ordinal, are the variables under discrete. What about the variables under continuous? Interval variable is a measurement where the difference between two values have a meaning. For example, the difference between the temperature of 60 degrees and 50 degrees is the same difference as between 30 degrees and 20 degrees. So the interval between values makes sense and can also be interpreted. Ratio is the same as the interval, except that the zero on the scale means it does not exist, or that there is a complete absence of the characteristics. For example, height, weight, distance, age, annual salary, blood pressure. Now, pasok naman tayo doon sa variables by causal relationship. In a research that is attempting of studying a causal-based relationship, we have four sets of variables. First one is independent variables, the cause, the input, the treatment that we apply to bring change. It also refers to the variable that is being manipulated by the researcher. Dependent variables, the effect, the output, the result that change. These are the variables being affected by the independent variable, and it changes as a result of the manipulation being made. Extraneous variables. These are outside variables that are not measured. These are the variables to be controlled by the experimenter, but if not controlled properly, it becomes a confounding variable that can strongly influence the study. Confounding variables are variables that the researcher failed to control or eliminate that can result in damaging the internal validity of the study. And lastly, the intervening variables, what we call the linking or mediating variables. It is a connecting or linking variable in certain situations that are important to complete the relationship between cause and effect. So that's it. Those are the different kinds of variables as well as their uses. So para balikan natin kung ano nga ulit yung summary for our variables. See you on our next topic.